It's episode 21 of the SuchBullshit Podcast, where I'm joined with Lug. This is a little different. And the topic title is, Minnesota and fucking Black Lives Matter and all their bullshit in between. And the reason why I wanted to do this was I saw the other day another fucking quote-unquote race crime, and I put in a huge fucking air quotes because it's not really a race crime. It was just a guy got pulled the fuck over, happened to be fucking black when they got pulled over, and was accidentally discharged into, instead of a taser, with an actual gun. The guy resisted. Obviously, officers have to use force to subdue. It happened. I mean, really, back in the day, they didn't use fucking tasers. They used, like, fucking actual guns or rubber bullets if they had, that kind of ammunition back in the day, like in the 80s, 70s, and whatnot, going further back. Stun guns weren't really invented. I don't know what year, but, it's not really an option. Not always on the table. Luke, what's your opinion on, well, by the way, Luke's drunk, but that's...
Fuck racial issues.
Fuck racial... But it's not a race crime.
It's not.
Why do you think it should be a race crime for a black guy to get pulled over driving through Minnesota, and then because he happens to be black and that's the reason he's pulled over, or other possible reasoning, or whatever? Maybe he has bad plates, or maybe his license needs to be renewed, or whatever. It was just a random stop. Like, how is it a crime to discharge a weapon?
It's not.
It's not.
It's as simple as a routine stop and a mistake in what device they were carrying. The fact that the race even becomes a thing is because of the media.
And the media is just a bunch of fucking idiots.
The media said it was a race problem. I didn't say it was a race problem. It looks like somebody got pulled over, they were gonna get tased, and they accidentally got shot. Did I say black or white in any of those words? No. And if that's all you were told about the situation, you'd be like, oh, well, that sucks. It was a tragedy. It was an accident.
On BBC right now, which for most of the news and the shit that I look up and research, a lot of the internet media is bullshit lies, or they drag out the whole fucking thing and they don't go into detail, or they write endless paragraphs of the same old bullshit and they copy and paste. BBC, in my opinion, is probably the best, cleanest, most honest news media out there. And I'm just going to say that right now for, years upon years. I always go there for my first bit of information. I don't do the New York Times because they're full of shit.
BBC, really?
Yeah, BBC's...
I didn't know that.
They're like...
I don't watch a lot of news, so I don't... I just hear a lot of people talking shit about BBC, so...
I go to them for the international race type news, because they don't fuck around with that shit. They go right to the fucking point, and they make it short, and that's what I like about it. Whereas the New York Times, as of late, has been getting hit with quote-unquote Iraq propaganda by one of their news reporters making up lies and some sort. Yeah, there are a bunch of lying Reds. You're right. They're kind of fucked up. I mean, you wouldn't be too wrong. British people are not the nicest of people, but they're the most honest of people.
Is that what BBC stands for? I had a very bad impression as to what BBC stands for.
Well,
it's not good.
It's kind of a mix of Canada, British. It's the general idea, the politics. That's what their coverage is. But like, you look at the actual side of their article. It shows the body cam footage of the officer, which was identified as Kim Potter, about only a couple years younger than me. So, like, she's 26. Some other articles are saying 25, so some of them are not even right. And it's just the body cam, and she pulls out what looks like a gun, but then again, a stun gun and a taser almost look identical because they're all black. There's no indication or whatever. And a stun gun, it's not like a video game where you hold it and it's got like a little prong and electric little bits flying in between and it's static. No, it's like an actual gun that shoots out in like GTA 5 when you're going to hunt someone, shoots a wire and attachment, it claws you and you get shocked to shit. There's no real indication of how that would look. You're not going to be looking when you're trying to subdue someone really quick. The problem is, as he was being cuffed, you know, he had his back turned and everything. He was in the middle of getting cuffed by the officer. He shook, resisted, and jumped into his car and tried to drive off.
He's trying to get away.
He's trying to get away. An officer's job when trying to subdue an arrest is to make sure that A, they are arrested, B, they're taken into custody so they can be questioned, and C, to protect everyone else around them. That includes the suspect, the officers, and the civilians that are nearby. Because you don't know what this fucking guy is going to do. Maybe he's got a hidden knife in his breast pocket. Maybe he's got a gun on him. Maybe he's got fucking illegal drugs on him. Maybe he's got something that is, you know, harmful to someone else. Maybe he's got a little bomb on him or some shit. Or a grenade. You don't fucking know what the hell people are carrying around in their pockets nowadays. I mean, you'd be surprised. Fucking vape sticks used to blow up. People still vape. I wouldn't be surprised if some smartass got a couple of vape sticks, put them in their pocket, and as an emergency would be able to pull them out, flick a thing, and then they explode in someone's face, and they use that to get away, like a firecracker or something, or an M80. I mean, it's not too hard to be creative with weapons nowadays. It's really not. I mean, people fucking 3D print guns. I mean, they do it. I mean, I got a friend that 3D prints all kinds of shit. Dildos, you fucking name it, he prints it. He's a cool dude.
I like how the first thing you said was dildos. Dildos, you name it, dildos. He prints dildos. And you know, other things, but, you know, mainly dildos.
I don't know what the warrant is for his arrest. This is the thing. When an officer goes to make an arrest, sometimes they need a warrant,
yeah,
and if it's
that's
just...
the thing I didn't get from watching the news. I don't even know what he's being arrested for.
Yeah, and...
Speeding? Was he
yeah. The reason I say Black Lives Matter...
Was he wanted?
The reason I'm saying that Black Lives Matter is a joke for this scenario is the fact that they would like every opportunity to make everything a race crime. When there is actual, and I do respect a lot of black people and everything, and I respect Black Lives Matter, but my problem is whenever it's a black person involved in a crime or a death or whatever, it has to be a race crime, no matter what. It can't be accidental. It can't be looked at. It is 100% proven fact by the whole community and social media, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's like, I've seen white officers kill white people dead by body cam, and there's footage online. There was a guy who was shot dead, who was a white guy in his apartment, was waving around a BB gun that he would shoot cockroaches. He was an exterminator. And he was waving it around a window once, and somebody called the cops on him. White officer walks in with an AR gun, and the gun is like live to kill or something engraved on it. And he shoots the white man dead, who's just trying to pick up his pants real quick. He thought he was reaching for a gun, told him to crawl towards him, and he shoots him dead. So, white people kill white people all the time. We don't make it a big fucking deal. You know, it sucks. I know how it feels. I would know how that would feel. I would know how getting pulled over for whatever reason would feel. I feel segregated. You're right. The problem is, it was a routine stop. You don't really need a reason or a warrant to stop someone to do anything. Right? Look, if I was an officer, maybe they're speeding, maybe they don't have their plates changed, maybe their car needs an inspection, or maybe one of their lights are out, they're driving by with a missing light. Very common thing to get pulled over for is missing a rear light.
I see a lot of people with missing lights.
Yeah, like I remember I was in the car once.
Fucking people that drive with broken lights or
I was in the car once with my friend, and we were passing by McDonald's at like fucking 11 o'clock at 11:30ish at night. We were on our way up to a Walmart, which was open 24/7. And this was years ago, before the pandemic, and we got pulled over because one of his lights went out, and he was going to go get it fixed tomorrow, and they gave him a ticket for like $83 or something. It was ridiculous. And that's sort of the thing I'm trying to make, and make this as a statement, John Cobbler. It's not that I hate Black Lives Matter or anything. I'm not against it. I'm for it. The problem is they make everything out to be a race issue. it's not the no good cops and the no good system. And believe me, I walked with the Black Lives Matter protests in my town that I didn't want in my town, number one. Number two, they actually trashed our municipal building, so I don't really already trust them because they're rioters. They're protesters. Protesters are not really a safe thing. I mean, the cops try to be nice and give them leeway.
Rioters are different. Protesters, if they're just doing it legally, are fine. The rioters, they're the people that are causing harm.
The problem, and they're usually Antifa or whatever, or they're the looters that are quote unquote National Guard enabled. Here's another thing with the National Guard, which Black Lives Matter and Antifa love to get them fucking set into place. Every time a state of emergency happens, then the National Guard needs to be called in. That's thousands of tax dollars. Thousands. For each hour that they're in use. Thousands. So when you guys complain, oh, there's no jobs, oh, I'm a bum, oh, I can't do anything, or, oh, there's not enough infrastructure, or, unemployment rate's down, I can't get a job, I gotta go to Social Security, I go to unemployment, I can't make a dime, they're not giving me anything. And then you wonder why they're not giving you anything. It's because they're paying to prevent you guys from going nuts. From going out and looting shit and blowing yourselves up. I made a statement about that last year where during the George Floyd riots, somebody had blown up an ATM, killed themselves, blowing themselves up. It's like, really? Like, number one, how can you be that dumb with a weapon and explode your own hand trying to rob an ATM? Whereas you could probably just break it open with a hammer or a sledgehammer, a little bit more smarter, and not actually kill yourself in the process. But, like, realistically, like, what is wrong with people? Like, you look at, and this was another thing with the whole Black Lives Matter protest. That was like last year. They were chanting anti-Trump this, anti-Trump that. Here's what's amazing to me, Luke. Okay, during this entire thing with Minnesota, has no one heard anything from Biden about Minnesota? Biden's not said one thing.
Much.
Yeah, he hasn't said one fucking thing.
He's very quiet.
Yeah, he's very quiet. But that was the thing. All these black voters were like, we're going to get rid of Trump. We're going to go vote in Biden. We don't like him. And now that he's here, the same thing happened. It made no fucking difference. I mean, right? Thanks to the information on us, the more efficient way to rob an ATM. I mean, there's other ways to rob an ATM. There's many ways to rob anything. You just have to think real hard. Here's a nice example. I work at a convenience store. Okay. People walk in the back for our public bathroom. We don't let them back there. But we do have locks and shit on all of our stuff in the back room, but that doesn't stop anyone from having the idea to do it. It's only intent that you have to worry about with people. And the problem is, there's too much intent in this fucking country because we have too much technology to fucking learn. Which, learning isn't dangerous, it's just the stupid people that are out there that are using it. And not for good purpose. But I don't understand how it is that our whole country could be to the point where they're blaming one president for an issue in one town, or one state in one town, for an officer doing something screwed up, like sitting on a guy's neck on their knee and killing them by suffocation, or a routine stop and accidentally pulling a gun, which, it fucking happened. The senior officer explained it on camera on BBC on that after the body camera footage. Their prominent weapon is in their right hand, or whatever hand that they write with. They're prominent with. That would be their main firearm, their gun, for fatal use. And then their weaker side would be the stun gun. In the heat of a moment, when someone is trying to jump in their car to get away for something, you're gonna grab something. Maybe accidentally, instinctively, you grab something with your right hand, that hand that you're used to being prominent with. Why are you letting it get to you, Mark? Fuck them. All this shit is irrelevant. It's not that I'm not letting them get to me. It's just that it hurts me to think that there's people online that are in trending on Twitter talking about manslaughter this, which I find fucking laughable, okay? You want to talk about manslaughter, go back 21 years Columbine and go look this up right now on YouTube. Columbine 0-hour documentary on YouTube. It's a 53-minute documentary. That's manslaughter. Oh, hey, Snip. Man, I might sneeze my balls. What the fuck, Snip?
Slaughtering of men.
It's... You got these people that loosely use this term, manslaughter, as if they're killing an entire tribe of people, of like 30, 40, 50 people, tens of people at a time. It's one person! Manslaughter, even words nowadays, is used so loosely and snowflakishly that it's sad. People that say the N-word just once, not directed anyway, people like PewDiePie, they get away with it. And it's not a big deal. It's South Park had Randy Marsh, fictional character, just outright say the N-word on Wheel of Fortune. All because I think Trey Parker didn't like the people that ran Wheel of Fortune. I don't know if he had something against them to make it specifically Wheel of Fortune, but what's the big fucking deal? Seriously, what is the big deal with this country? Why is it that all the Black Lives Matter protesters were anti-Trump? They're like blaming Trump for this and that. But here's the one thing I've always said. I said it last year and I'll say it this year. Why is it that when Obama was in office, that the George Zimmerman thing happened? And yet no one says it. Immediately as I say that, I said that at the fucking protest with hundreds of people there, and no one said a fucking word. Everyone shut their mouth. I shouted that shit. I'm like, yo, Obama literally let George Zimmerman happen. What's the big deal? And they all shut the fuck up. They all shut the fuck up, and I just left. I got in my car and I left. It's like, people need to literally crawl out their own ass and wake the fuck up and stop being sheeple. It's painful.
Did you just say sheeple?
Yeah, sheeple. They're fucking sheep.
Sheeple. I'm gonna start using that. That's hilarious. Sheeple.
You're too drunk right now, aren't you?
No. I didn't drink a whole bottle of wine.
What?
What?
Did you have any protesters go through your town, Luke? For anything?
My town is too small for anything to happen.
Twitter is currently a cesspool. All the Tumblr.
Maybe a school shooting, because apparently that can happen anywhere.
Yeah. All the Tumblr, they, thems migrated there, and they've been given a platform. The narcissism of online Western youth, our age, gives people the bad idea, or any idea that anyone cares what they say. That's the problem that I have with a lot of other fucking platforms. I don't want to go to Instagram because it's a bunch of basic bitches that post their nudes. You go to fucking Tumblr, it's the same fucking thing. It's a cesspool everywhere you go. Every social media platform's every so slightly different. And the only reason I do my shit here is because YouTube, even their staff, can barely tolerate what I say. They're my own YouTube team, like my partnership, they fucking come to me and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? And I constantly get yelled at in email, and I don't even care. I tell them, look, I'm just fucking saying how it is. I'm saying the one opinion that you don't fucking hear on the internet, and you don't like it, kiss my ass. This is my show, and I run it. This is my enjoyment. This is the thing. It's not that I don't care. Social media is so cancer. You're right. Social media is fucking shit. You're absolutely right, Snip. It's fucking that's why when I'm reading through on Twitter, I'm like, okay, let me see if No Name's coming back, or let me go see how Snip's doing, or fucking let me go look at the few other hundreds of fucking people that I follow on goddamn Twitter, or news companies and whatnot, and let's go see what's going on. And then I go on there, and it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. Every single fucking day, it's, oh, this person died, or this is trending for something stupid. Oh, Texas, every year in April, there's a school shooting, like Luke just mentioned, right? And to mention Columbine, I don't even know what the death count for Columbine is, off the top of my head. I know it's pretty fucking high.
Yeah.
Can you look that up for me for a moment there, Luke, since I can't alt-tab? Well, I mean, I can, but I don't want to, because it might mess something up, but I know the death count has to be at least 30, or close to 30, in the 30s. I just instinctively think that'd be close. 37? 37, right?
Say 37.
37 deaths and 62 injured.
According to Wikipedia, it's 12 students and 1 teacher.
Huh. I thought it was more.
No, Isn't that enough?
I mean, they tried to kill 100 people with a bomb in a cafeteria. I mean, that's creative enough in the fucking 90s. You gotta give them credit. You know, credit where credit's due. They turned gasoline tanks, propane tanks into bombs that were set to blow up an entire cafeteria. You know, that's smart and scarily smart for, you know, a 90s kid with no access to a cell phone yet or decent internet. Remember, the 90s, 1999, XP wasn't even a thing yet, I don't think. You know, that's how shitty their fucking... 98, Windows 98 was brand fucking new at that point.
It's crazy to think.
If you had a Windows 98 computer in 99, you were fucking rich. Okay, people barely owned a fucking MacBook at that point. Macintosh was, like, still early in development in them times. And you gotta remember...
Making me feel old.
Yeah, you gotta remember, like, fucking... Black Lives Matter, it's not that... It's the problem with them. I can't take them seriously when every single time they label everything that involves one black person as a race crime, no matter what, and it has to be ununanimously decided that it's a race crime forever, and that it's manslaughter, it's fucked up, there's no rights, you know, everything down the line, and it just screams, shut up, basically. It just screams, shut up. It's like, it's a crime, it happened, accidents happen, murder happens. Okay, if you resist arrest, it happens. George Floyd resisted arrest. He was killed by accident. This dude ran off while being arrested in his car, and he ran off, and he got shot in the process. Happens in a fucking car chase all the time. Go play GTA. How many times would you say in Grand Theft Auto alone, you playing as the main character, that you get shot dead by the cops while driving away because they're trying to subdue you? It's a video game, I get it. It's not real life, but I'm just saying. It's theoretical, because Rockstar tries to make that game as realistic as possible. How many times do you think you would have died by police if you were playing Grand Theft Auto, Luke?
Many.
Many. Too many. Because they're trying to subdue you. That's the thing. Like, how can you sit here and say that's a race crime? It's like, in the court of law, just picture this, right? I'm a judge, you know, I got my hat, my fucking, my hammer, let's just say this is my hammer, okay? Court's in session, alright? Alright, Luke, you're in here for, you apparently, got pulled over, you know, we caught you drinking too much wine out of your car, you threw bottles out the window, hitting 15 people, you know, you were crazy driving, and you apparently didn't kill anyone, surprisingly. How do you plead? And then you would plead, not guilty, fuck you, and then run out of the courtroom. You would shout, fuck you, not guilty, and just run out the back door as police try to chase you. At what point does that scream kangaroo court or what the fuck court? Like, that's the same thing. That's the thing. You would have to be stopped. If you're, you know, forcefully summoned by the state, town, or municipal, or whatever the fuck says you gotta go there, you gotta go there. You're summoned. You can't deny it. You can hold it off or postpone it or make it another time. It's like jury duty. You can't get rid of it. You have to go. There's a few ways to get out of jury duty, but you still have to appear at least once or say something. There's got to be some kind of contact. You just can't show the fuck up. And even then, you just still got to deal with it. And that's what these kind of fucking people online don't fucking realize, because they are hiding behind their fucking screens all their lives. They're sitting here, you know, in every workplace, doesn't matter what level of employment, they're always going to be sitting there texting on their phone, not giving a fuck. And then that's how you get people that are fucked up and stupid, that don't know how to think for themselves, that don't know how to communicate, that are scared to go outside their computer. You know, if you lack the ability to work a cash register, that's something basic, by the way, or drive a car, which is another necessity in life, which I can understand. Some people are afraid of driving because it's like the second most leading thing of killing people in the United States, or fucking anything else, or owning a house, or having kids. You know, all those fears are understandable, but it's a part of fucking life. You gotta learn it, and if you can't, then what the fuck are you doing? It's I don't know. It's nonsense. But what were you gonna say, Luke? I felt like you were gonna say something
About what?
about Minnesota right now being silly. Because right now the National Guard is called in, and every hour that they're on the clock and being in use is thousands of dollars.
Unnecessary.
Thousands of dollars that you're paying now.
Sounds unnecessary.
Which, if I'm doing the math right in my head, it's probably going to be like an extra cent or more on your taxes for this year. For each day.
It's ridiculous.
That's unfair. So rather than me get, my, let's say I make $800 a week. It's per se. I don't really make that amount. I make a different amount. Let's not talk about my payment here. But like, let's say I make 800 or 1,000. Let's say 1,000. Fuck it, 1,000. I get taxed, let's say, $220 at that point. Well, little Jimmy and Fuckface and Quazapa, whatever fuck names, I can't come up with any names. I'm just half asleep at this point. Let's say they all get on the bandwagon, and they're these Black Lives Matter Antifa activists that are going out there and fucking shit up. All the affirmation allows him that have sad archetypal experiences other than real meaningful ones. We have fostered a society of voyeurs that encourages these. Yeah, you're right. The people that sit back and do nothing are the worst murderers out there. I mean, you got people that watch other people kill one another.
Well, that better be thrown in jail then.
You've actually seen when someone kills someone?
Would I stand back and just let them?
In a video game you would, because it's funny. But in real life, it's like...
I guess it depends on the scenario.
Real life, it's a little...
If I'm able to do anything. If I know that if somebody had a gun, and they're about to shoot somebody...
Maybe.
And... I mean, it wouldn't even be a guarantee if I could save them.
That's true. Minnesota.
It's a really hard choice to make, and honestly, I wouldn't judge anybody from saving themselves in that situation. A hard choice to make.
So with Minnesota,
you could die, because you could literally die, and it wouldn't guarantee that the person you're trying to save would actually get saved, either.
I wanted to snap my neck because I was trying to speak, but it's fine. Anyway, Minnesota right now with the National Guard enabled. The reason that they were enabled and put into play was because multiple stores were raided in the last couple of days. Now, you might be thinking...
Oh yeah, Americans love to loot. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they do.
We love our looting. Something goes wrong, alright, go loot the nearest store just for whatever. Just because you can.
Yeah, and here's the problem, right? Black Lives Matter, they promote it. Every one of their protests and their walks, that it's peaceful protest, and that there's no problem, they're not going to do anything mischievous or whatnot. Yet, I've seen them damage property. I've seen them go to fucking... They stopped at a diner in my town. They set up a corral, which was an unintended stop that wasn't on their route. They were supposed to keep walking. They stopped for a water break, and they had a 30-minute long announcement and all this shit. And people were stomping on top of their fucking dumpsters. They were fucking screaming. One of them broke a window on the way out. They were screaming at the owners of the restaurant because the restaurant was only serving to go. Their cooks were inside scared. Like, they were scared to the point where multiple cops had shown up around the place. And they had cops stationed all over the town and all over the area. And I'm just sitting here with my phone recording. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with all these animals? These fucking people. And it's white and black people. When I say animals, I'm saying animals as in human beings. Like, what the fuck are you all doing? And they're walking down the street like a bunch of idiots. And then they're chanting anti-this, anti-that. And then you want to say that it's not the problem. There's... apparently this big problem that's specifically in my town, in my county, that is a race problem. I've never seen one. I got black friends in my town. I've never seen one. So, like, it hurts my brain when I see, like, even rent-a-cops with big system, like monopolies like fucking Walmart. Luke, you've worked for a fucking Walmart before. How many times have you guys had a rent-a-cop sitting in an unmarked car outside your fucking building just to lock up somebody who steals like a $50 fucking dart gun or some shit? Not a dart gun, but like anything.
I don't know about cops sitting outside in the parking lot, but we had these like secret shoppers. I swear to God, they literally, their job was to walk around the store and look like a regular shopper, just looking at shit. And their job is to catch shoplifters. That's their job. Look like you're shopping without a cart and catching shoplifters. You had like a little headset thing, like a Secret Service guy.
Right.
And you would you could radio up front and tell them that somebody was stealing something.
I had that position.
They could call the police.
That's a lot of emojis I can't
That
read.
shit's hilarious.
I had that position when I worked for a Walmart before.
I fucking love Walmart.
They're hilarious.
They attract the trashiest people, but they got the best security that I've ever seen in a fucking store.
Is that ridicule that I'm sensing, or is it just like joke laughs?
It's funny.
Mockery?
It's also ridicule because I hate Walmart. Fuck Walmart.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why after about a couple months, I'm like, yeah, fuck this company. I'm done. I don't care for the security here. It's kind of trash. Here's the thing, too. I've seen the rent-a-cops go out of their way to arrest a man for stealing 2 paintball guns to give to his sons for, Christmas. They towed his car. They fucked him up. They beat the shit out of him. They apparently planted drugs in his car, and they charged him with DUI. They did all this kind of fucked up shit. And then it's like, well, what the fuck? It's a couple $100 of paintball guns. I understand it's still theft. That's a lot of money. But, like, there's no need to do all the other shit. That's excess. Just tell him to get the fuck out. Make him put it back. Cuff him for a day. Charge him with theft. And then, give him community service and get rid of him. He sounded like he was a good dude. What was the point of all that shit? I don't fucking know. Could have been a white guy, could have been a black guy. It wouldn't have made a difference. They would have done the same fucking thing. The problem is that the same kind of cops in my area, they take advantage of big corporations paying their private salary to sit out front to arrest people and be an asshole. Whereas if you try to make a legitimate report, somebody stole a couple $100 from my house, stole a couple $1,000s of video games and consoles out of my room and shit, they won't care. You can tell them the exact person they are, where they live, how much they have, where they're going, what they're doing, and they won't do a fucking thing. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up. So when people want to sit here and say it's unfair, I know it's unfair. I have been robbed from my own house, from people I know, thousands of dollars, and I didn't care. After so many years, you stop caring, and it just becomes norm.
You started the podcast without me.
Oof. I don't need you to start a podcast. I'll start a podcast if I want.
Oh my god.
I've been ranting about Minnesota. Are you nearby Minnesota right now, Evie?
I'm in Texas. That's nowhere near Minnesota if you think about it. Actually, wait a minute. Are you talking about with the BLM stuff?
Yes.
Funny thing, I was just discussing it with one of my friends who is actually African
I
American.
was saying that it's completely ridiculous and that they're making everything be a race crime. It's all a race. Every time it has to be a race crime. I think it's a fucking joke. I'm seriously thinking every other day I hear something like this. It makes me think little and less about Black Lives Matter. It's starting to look like Black Lives Matter is starting to become an actual hate group because you gotta think about it. They're fucking looting shit now. And it's not just black people looting, it's white people too, intermixed. Joining hands together. And there's looting. There's the National Guard's enabled right now. You know that, right?
Well, yeah, I watched the Inside Edition videos and stuff.
Yeah, there's people fucking tear gas and shit. It's continuing. It's the same fucking scenario as last year.
Don't get me wrong. I am of multi-race culture. Yes, I'm multi-race. Like that's.
And you came from Jersey. You came from Jersey,
What?
the same as me.
Yeah, but I was born in Guatemala, but I'm also multi-race. I'm probably about 3%, 5% black. I'm more Hispanic and a tiny bit of white. I mean, it's just the fact to it. I mean, but I'm not going to use my color as
A card for hate.
card. Like here's a prospect. I'm not going to name the town. I'm not going to name the area. I got pulled over a week ago or something like that. In my car, it was a fully decked out police interceptor, was the security car I drive,
Right.
or the old ex-cop car, which it's got a spotlight, it's got a push car, it's even got tinted windows, everything.
Right.
The officer approached me because apparently my tag was not visible like that one that just happened, and she thought because I turned the stop sign real fast that I was trying to elude her, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm one half a mile from my house. Why would I elude anything? And it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. I have a Slurpee in my cup holder. I just went to go get a Slurpee from like a slushie from Sefco, and I went there and came back, and I was almost home, and then she pulled me over, and she's like, are you trying to leave me? I'm like, no, I just pulled over because I knew you were going to pull me over, so I did the favor for you anyway. And then as I'm waiting there, she calls backup, which surprisingly was an African-American officer, and she asked me to step out of the car so she can search it. I'm like, for what? I have a Slurpee. Is that dangerous to you?
I'm laughing at the response.
But you know what I mean? It's so ridiculous. She's like, well, we gotta make sure everything's good. I'm like, I have a Slurpee. Are you going to drown in slush? Please tell me.
You should have You should have picked up the Slurpee visible there. And held it a bit like, am I gonna drown in this thing?
No.
And just start drowning on it.
It's an old Crown Victoria cop car, and she's like, "How do you open the trunk?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm looking at me and the other officer looked at each other like, "Oh my god, you have not been on the force long enough to know this." Because the button's in dead center of the dashboard, like dead center, right below the radio. If you look up a Crown Victoria's dashboard, it is smack dab in the middle.
In the middle,
right below. Yeah, and it's like, she's like, "How do you open the trunk?" I'm like, this is a cop car. How do you not know how to open a trunk?
A cop car. The buttons for the back door and everything are in the front panel. Yeah, you can't unlock it from the inside. You can't unlock it from the outside either.
I'm like, you have not been on the force long enough to experience the Crown Victoria days, basically, of cop cars.
No.
And I'm like, and she's searching everything. She's trying to find something. I don't know what she was having a flashlight and everything. She opens the glove box, which was actually the biggest joke in the center because my car, when I bought the car, not my car, it was it's Marley's car, Wolf Girl. It's her car. The car didn't have a glove compartment, a glove box, because apparently the box port was taken out. She opens it and she's looking inside. I'm like. There's nothing but wiring and a blower motor back there for the AC system. What are you going to find? The box is not there, so good luck with that one.
You should have just put a dildo in there.
She literally opened it and had this face of confusion of, what the hell, there's no glove box. Like, it was almost like a, open the door and say, fuck you, there ain't anything in here, dumbass.
Next time, you need to put like a dildo in there, like a bad dragon or something like that, so that way when that ever happens again, they pull you over and they open the door and be like, yeah, that's there, I don't really give a shit.
And here's the thing.
Just make it a talking piece.
Okay, have you ever watched Jeff Dunham?
Yes.
You know when Walter, when he's in the TSA thing and he's like, hey, shut the damn door. Just have one of those sound effects play. When she opens it up, realizes there's no glove box there, and it says, hey, shut the damn door.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But the thing is, it's like, she didn't even tell me why she searched the car. She didn't give me a reason for the stop or to search the car, and I'm like, why am I even here right now? It's like, I'm like, are you like Are you antagonizing me? Like, but here's the thing: I'm not gonna sit here and say Black Lives Matter and everything like that. I'm not gonna do that. Honestly, I just followed her commands, let her do her thing, and I went home perfectly fine.
Yeah. You didn't resist.
No, I just sat there, had a conversation with the other officer.
People that resist have something to hide.
Yeah, I just said, all right. I said, I stepped out, I followed all commands, did everything as needed, and then searched, found nothing. I got in the car, I told him.
And here's another thing. If you're in the middle of being arrested, you have your rights, you read them, and then you get taken into custody, and you discuss it with an officer and questioning, and then... If
you go get a lawyer, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's it. And if you're clear and you're 100% honest and innocent in the whole fucking thing, and you're not carrying any drugs or committed a fucking murder, you're gonna get out fine. Yeah. You're not gonna get charged with anything. And that's what these people don't realize. They think that they're gonna get fucking shot and killed or sentenced 20,000 fucking years in prison or a life term for this and that. It's all right, what are you hiding? What was this guy hiding that he had to resist getting cuffed, jump into his car, and literally be told, stop, or you're going to get tased multiple times, and then got on drugs?
No, not drugs.
Drugs, anything. It could be anything.
Guns.
Could be any fucking thing. And I get it, there's a right to hold, but if you're going to resist arrest, that's the same as saying fuck you to a cop and punching him in the face. They're obviously going to fight back.
Resisting arrest goes every which way, whether you're white, black, Mexican, Hispanic, Asian.
Yeah.
If an Asian ran away from a cop, he's going to get tased, he's going to get tackled, he's going to get punched.
It's going to get physical.
It's going to get physical. I mean, you're resisting arrest.
And that's what these fucking people at Black Lives Matter, they're sitting on fucking Twitter, and it's, I get it, there's the actual Black Lives Matter, and then there's these fucking people online that are claiming to be your supporters of this, that, and Antifa, and they're not, and they're these fucking yuppies that want to be the snowflake, the perfection, personified innocence online, these good Samaritans online. They got to talk about up and down. Oh, this terrible thing happened. Let me not look at the logistics. Let me side with everyone to get a good image because I'm a snowflake, I'm a sheeple, and I have no thought process of my own.
You know what this is very similar to?
What?
The uprise of Karen.
The uprise of Karen?
Yeah, like the uprise of the terminology Karen.
That's for women only. That's different. It's not too different from this. It's not, yeah, you're right. It's not too different from this. There's Karens and then there's snowflakes. Karens are basically women that are snowflakes. Except, when you got a Karen, it's much worse than a snowflake. A snowflake is tolerable compared to a Karen.
But you gotta realize, they picked the word Karen.
Yeah. And women have officially labeled the word Karen as of a few months ago as a sexist term. Which is hilarious because it has been used for that long. It really hasn't.
Oof.
So it's like here's the thing, words only have so much power as someone makes it out to be. So if a group of women got that offended over the word Karen being used to subjugate annoying, overly presumptuous fucking women that are annoying to anyone, then there you go. You're a fucking snowflake.
If they think Karen is sexist and thing, I'm like, what about the women who are actually named Karen?
Right?
You see my issue here?
In some countries, it is legal to name your own kids racial slurs.
Yeah.
It is.
Like,
if you wanted to name your son the N-word, you could do it in another country. I think you can even do it in the U.S. It don't have to be the N-word either. It could be any fucking word.
Like, if you don't really think about it,
Poop on.
the N-word also derives from, it was a white term.
There's people that are named Dick.
Well, no, like you got to think about it. What about the word pussy? Pussy was for the feline. Was for a feline.
For the longest time, yeah, it was never really intended for vagina. For a while.
It was the classification for a feline or cat.
Right. It's just like
They
that
went-
South Park episode where the kids were referring to the bikers as fags.
Yeah, but also the thing is, it's just like, what about bitch? That's the terminology for a female dog.
Yeah.
Some of these terms don't even have racial or offensive terminology behind them because they were never used in that situation to begin with. They had old history behind them.
They were never
wasn't
coined
even-
for that purpose. They weren't coined until such and such time where people felt it was necessary to use it in order for it to have actual fucking power, which in reality it had no power to begin with. It only had power of backing, or memes in this case. And that's the thing too. I just don't respect that. I don't.
Like, okay, here's the thing. There's one word out there named the word fucker. Fucker derives from the English term fucker.
What?
Fucker, like motherfucker.
Fuck you.
Oh. Oh.
It derives
Fuck
from the
you.
term fucker.
Fuck me. See?
And that term and that word is spelled Fooker. But apparently somebody decided to add the other word and just make it fucker. Even though the originality of the word is fucker.
You doing fucking Newton. Get the fuck out of here. You doing Newton.
So, Umbreon.
You fucking Newton.
Umbreon,
doing
Umbreon, what is your opinion of the guy that got pulled over? Did you see the body footage? The body cam?
Which one? The black car or the white car?
What? No, the guy who was shot and killed by Officer Kim Potter.
The Daunte person?
Yeah.
Like, let me.
You saw the body cam footage, though, right?
No, I haven't actually seen the full body cam footage.
It's
but
on BBC.
Let me see if I can bring it up real quick.
Here, I will give it to you. It's linked in my description on my podcast. I will put it in the general as well. On that actual article has the video. They don't have the actual shooting part. They've retracted it. They skipped ahead and they skipped the part, but it shows the last frame where she had aimed the gun right before discharging it. But I think where the shot that they saved that it hangs on, you can see a little bit of blood on the side of his, like a blood stain. So I think that he was injured prior or shot.
I see what you're talking about. So I'm watching it right now. So they're about to put handcuffs on him. They get one handcuff on him, and they take it off for a second because something happened. And then, boom, he just starts moving into his car, like no warning whatsoever.
No warning. He's shaking. He's like, "Let me get out!" Like he's trying to go. He's not sitting there to stay. He's fucking going.
Literally, I can
At
see
that
him,
point,
I can see
when you resist, you're a convict.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what race you're, white, black, Hispanic, Asian. As I said again, if I sat in my car, or let's just say, actually, here's a great example. If my friend who's Asian sat in his car, got pulled over, got out, was being put in handcuffs, and then ran back to his car, the same thing would happen. You know, it's common. It's not common sense, but it's logical.
The only thing I have to say is, like, if you're requesting something, like, and they deny it, and you say, please give me the thing, like, let's say, for example, you need a crutch to be able to walk, and you're cooperating, and they don't give it to you, they're kind of a dick. They should be helping you get into the car, or something like that. Obviously, they would. I mean, whatever the reason for being pulled over, whatever. If you're cooperating, this should be fucking cool to you, too. That's my common thing. But, like, this scenario, the guy is literally struggling. You can see him. He's resisting arrest. And then these Black Lives Matter protesters and these fucking people that go on social media, they immediately label it as manslaughter without a word to try to get everyone on board and then not tell them that the guy resisted arrest. I go look on Twitter, they say nothing about him resisting arrest. Nothing. He resisted arrest. Black Lives Matter. Why are you guys that retarded to not say all over social media that he resisted arrest? Why am I the only one I see on that entire trending list that is fucking seen that he was resisting? There's not one word resisting anywhere on that trending. That's fucking sad. That's just... I want to blow my head off. So you saw the rest of it? Where she discharged? Yeah, it's like, at that point she's like, holy shit, I shot him. You can hear the other officers said, taser, taser, taser. They're trained that whenever they discharge, any officer discharges anything, another officer has to say, do it. Or they need to give a signal. And they were given a signal. That was professional as fuck. Unfortunately, she grabbed the wrong weapon. Instinctively went with her prominent hand and accidentally discharged. It was a quick moment. It happens.
I mean,
it's not great.
This is like what we call second thinking. This is like split second thinking. You have split seconds to decide.
Right. And that guy, he shouldn't have fucking resisted. If he didn't resist, he would have never had anything discharged into him. Not a stun gun and not a gun. It could have been a rubber bullet. It wouldn't have made a fucking difference. They could have sent a canine unit to literally chop his nuts off. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Thankfully, you know, I think at that point, either living or having no nuts, you know, I think I would choose not living at that point. So
Vince would slap my nuts.
There's no Vince would slap your nuts. It's more like Vince, your nuts is gone, and there's no point in living at that point without any nuts. I mean, there's a lot of people that try to go on. I mean, look at Family Guy Quagmire when he lost his nuts to the shark. In that episode, he literally was depressed to the point where he literally got his dad's balls stapled to him. I mean, what does that say? That was a weird comparison to make. I'm not gonna lie.
I was like, what?
I'm just saying, like, you know, it's not that I hate Black Lives Matter. It's not that I'm despondent in Minnesota. In fact, I feel like the Minnesota mayor, he's doing the best that they can. I mean, what else can you really do when you have a bunch of protesters and people literally ripping up your entire fucking town, 20 places looted by both white and black people all together that are, quote-unquote, under the flagship of Black Lives Matter, peaceful protesting while out there, and the National Guard needs to be called in.
Whoa. Back up and repeat what you just said. Black Lives Matter what protesting?
They're protesting in Minnesota outside.
No. You said Black Lives Matter out of the thing of Black Lives Matter, peaceful. That term right there, peaceful.
It's not peaceful.
What has been peaceful about it?
Yeah, you're right. It's not. I'm putting it. I'm doing air quotes. I was just mocking. Because there's no peace. If there is peace, they wouldn't need a National Guard. They wouldn't need the mayor literally saying there's a curfew. At this point, Black Lives Matter should be disorganized by the FBI and completely shut down, and nothing allowed it to trend about it, because it's not even about, you know, black freedom at that point. Not genuine anymore, because you got people that are using that to commit crime. And there's another thing too. I'm just gonna say this, and you could say I'm racist for it. I don't give two flying fucks. I'm just gonna be dead ass honest. This is something the news media won't fucking say. I'm gonna fucking say it. Most crime in America, 73% of it is by African American. 73%. 73.2.
Is it racist if you're stating a fact? No, it's not.
Who the hell was that?
It's like saying a black person is black. Hey, that person is black. Is it racist? No. It's a fucking fact.
You're identifying them. And that's what the police do. They identify black suspect, white suspect.
Here's what I want to point out. When was the last time? Y'all can check on this. When was the last major incident since ever, I guess, since World War II, did an incident of a violent crime such as the shooting of Columbine? Excuse me to bring that up. Columbine, Las Vegas, and BLM.
When you say Las Vegas, is that the shooting that happened with the guy that was in the hotel with a sniper rifle?
Hotel.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was It was a
country
concert.
music concert.
What was the concert?
Yeah.
What was it? I forget. I remember it
I
though.
don't remember.
What was the band?
My point is, when was the last time a violent crime was committed like that by a person who was not Mexican, white, black? There. When was the last time an Asian person had of Asian culture had committed a violent crime that is not of those three races?
Virginia Tech?
Was he Asian?
Yeah, I believe he was. Cho Sang-Kui?
My point is, when was Virginia Tech?
Not that many years behind Columbine, right after. I don't remember the year and time. You could Luke, what was the year and time for Virginia Tech shooting?
I'm looking it up.
Virginia Tech? God,
Yeah.
that was a long time ago.
It was
2007.
yeah, so it was years after
Feels
fucking
like a long
Columbine.
time ago.
Yeah. But he was of Asian descent, but that was so many years ago. You're right. That's a good question and real genuine question to ask. You know,
But that was 2007. Now, since 2007,
nothing.
when has there been a major crime ever since that
By
involved Asian?
Asian or Indian, not often.
Or even Islam. I mean, besides Islamic. I mean, Islamic is a little iffy on that topic, but you know what I mean. When was the last time Asian or Indian had committed a serious crime of that nature in the last, century, basically? Or not century, decade.
No. And here's another thing. The most white crime is committed in schools. White people are, American school shooter always has to be a white guy. Nicholas Cruz was white. Columbine, both of them were white. And there's
Sandy
probably
Hook
other
was white.
Sandy Hook. Yeah, it's pretty a common thing. It's unfortunate.
And actually, if you go all the way back to say, where my parents reside, which is in Austin, Austin Tech shooting, Austin college shooting was a white guy with a sniper rifle. So, reality is, most school shootings, even the ones that recently happened at that supermarket, white guy.
Here's the thing, though, with white people when they commit a crime. Most of it is very, very, very well planned out to scary degree. Okay? Even when they're young. So, like, fucking, Eric Harris, Dylan Klebold. When they walk into the fucking Columbine High School and they have the propane tanks, like I said earlier, they planned it out to where they were trying to kill hundreds. Not a couple people. Hundreds. Like, mass manslaughter. Like, they would have, 3 lifetimes worth of prison sentences had they lived and been captured. They would have never seen the light of day. They'd been behind bars forever. Till they were past skeletons. I don't even think they'd be buried at that point. They'd probably just give them a closet once they're bones and just wait the rest of the years and not open the closet.
You gotta think about this one also. And this is a big one. It is like... Oh, I'm getting water.
You're in water? Oh.
Is
underwater.
What I thought about is Black Lives Matter supposed to be a mass suicide? I don't know. It's just something that kind of occurred to me. Are y'all trying to die?
Now that you say it like that, it's starting to sound like that.
Like, are y'all trying to die? Like,
I don't want to say this because I'm not certain of it, though, but a lot of the people that broke into the Capitol during the raid, most of them were white, but they were Antifa. So they were the people that were inciting all the other garbage that wasn't supposed to be going on. But there was still black people inside that were in hand joining in, walking in together. In some of the footage, there was every color under the sun walking in there. Like a mixed bag.
Except, there was not I don't think, they said they did a count. They hadn't found any Asian culture in that, apparently.
Yeah, I didn't see one Asian person in that.
Like,
Mostly because Asian people don't give a fuck about America anymore. It's just true. They don't really give a shit. They come here, they get their eggs, milk, and whatever the fuck from their little quick store. They go home, they eat, drink, and then they fucking go to sleep and they go back to work the next day.
My point is that
they keep to themselves.
Yeah, they keep to themselves as long as their hentai is not being burned. I don't think they have an issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I didn't want to mention hentai on the fucking podcast. It had no place to be here. Especially at the 1 hour mark. Alright, I gotta wrap this podcast because I don't like them going over an hour because then people think I'm ranting for an hour like a madman. And here's the thing too, like I'll say I have nothing against Black Lives Matter though, but it's more or less starting to look like a sheeple of bullshit, a sheeple of terrorism, and multiple tax dollars. Multiple thousands, hundreds of thousands, almost millions in tax dollars between the National Guard, the looting, Social Security, people that are fucking...
It makes me think.
It's disgusting. And then you have the people that are essential workers not getting paid a dime, helping run, convenience stores like I do, or any other person. Anyone could do what I'm fucking doing. And yet, people are going out, they're collecting Social Security, they're sitting outside, they're rioting, they're fucking breaking into things while doing all this. And then they go back into their cars with all their shit that's stolen, the fucking ATMs that they blew up, they throw all their cash in the back that's probably die-packed or whatever. I don't fucking know about shit when it comes to robbery or whatnot, but all in all, you still got people that are literally cutting off tax dollars from the government, and then when it comes around to the government trying to help them, when they bitch they can't get help, they wonder why. And then it's laughable. It's like, well, you did it to yourself at that point. I don't know if either one of you have ever been inside of a Social Security Administration office, like a federal building. I've been in one once to help my mother-in-law get her disability. And there was a lot of people in there with false disabilities that were literally saying how they're going to fake it. And they're telling their daughters and whatnot, oh, act out your disability, sweetie. It's like, really? Is this what America's come to? You just fucking act it out and you get it? That's fucking gross. It's terrible. And people can fake their medical records. They could walk in there with a sheet full of bullshit that they filled out to make it look legitimate and get disability for fibromyalgia or fucking disability. Oh, my leg is permanently broken. I can't walk. Like, there's a couple streamers that have made thousands off donation money. Thousands. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for just sitting there on Twitch every other day playing video games, and he's not able to walk. He's in a wheelchair. He's a wheelchair gamer. But then one day gets up off his feet and stands up, and he's like, yeah, by the way, I can stand, and then when he forgot to turn off the camera, people exposed him for being a fake. So it's like...
Yeah, but it's like you donated to him, and you should have noticed in the bottom right corner or the bottom center of the screen that his legs are just moving around a little bit, so he is moving. And, I don't know, his chair is swiveling back and forth. How is he doing that? I don't know, with his legs.
Most of the time when he did his streams for that, though, it's a completely separate matter. He covered his legs with, like, a cloth or something, so you really didn't see them. So he was smart about it. He was slick. People fake their shit all the time. That's what's disgusting. And then when you try to sit there and justify all this shit... I can't justify this. I can't justify anywhere where they would say that this is a crime. Kim Potter, the officer, completely innocent. She should be absolved of any crime. It is not a race crime. It's an accidental murder. She shouldn't be discharged or put on any kind of leave. She should be put back on the force and everything continued regularly. There's no reason for this. There's none. Good officer. Unfortunately, she fucked up. She probably has to go back to training school to make sure she doesn't, use the wrong weapon again. Because that is a pretty big thing. You're left and right, and it is a huge issue. But, that shouldn't be the case. Every officer, every police department runs a little bit differently. Maybe that office specifically has it to where whatever hand you write with is your gun, and whatever is your weaker hand is your taser. Which means you could get the two mixed up. Okay, I'm right-handed. All right, I know. This is my primary. This is going to be my gun. This is my taser. Oh, but somebody else might be left-handed. Oh, fuck, I'm going to be grabbing my gun. Doesn't occur to you to do that. Not instinctively, at least. But I'm not right-handed, so I wouldn't know. It's different for everyone. But unfortunately, not to social media. Social media just wants to be fucking retarded and biased and make everything out to be a race crime. Again, I'm not against Black Lives Matter, and I'm not racist or anything for it. And you want to call me racist? Fine. I don't give two flying shits about your opinion or your snowflakeism. The problem that I have is these fucking snowflakes that are claiming manslaughter that have never even seen anything close to manslaughter in their fucking lifetime. In their fucking lifetime. You got these people that are on Twitter that are like fucking 18 years old that have never seen Columbine. Don't even know what it is. And it's not like it's a big thing.
What's Columbine? I'm like, oh my god, shoot, blow me.
It's like, it's not, I'm not trying to make it out to be this big thing. It's not amazing. It's not the most worst thing that's happened in this fucking planet. You know, it's been worse. Have I seen Columbine? I've seen the Zero documentary. I've seen fucking some of the victims. They're fucking, when they were interviewed, they look terrible. They're depressed as fuck.
Yeah, but what about the shooters? They were bullied to no end, so in a sense you could say,
yeah,
you brought this on yourself.
The system, the school systems are responsible for fucking most white people going AWOL. They really are. And it's not just that, it's
Eric,
people...
They went AWOL because they were bullied to death, basically, and they did that. I'm
like, I haven't...
No, people were just...
Derek, I haven't actually been there. I've not been in Columbine. But I have been alive during the time that it happened. I was 7 years old when that shit happened. And I remember getting pulled out of school. Literally, our whole school closed down for that day. We all went home, and they all sat down, and they talked to us, and they told us what the fuck happened. And it wasn't... I wasn't living anywhere near Columbine. I was living in Jersey. So I was far from that fucking state. Thank God.
You're living in, how old? What year were you 7 in?
1999.
You were 7 in 1999?
Yeah, I was 7 years old. But, like, they pulled us aside. Yeah, I know. They pulled me aside for fucking 9/11 and everything. It's at this point, I've just gotten used to all the weird shit that has happened growing the fuck up that I look at the death count for fucking the 9/11 building trade center falling down, and I look at, Columbine, and they try to show us, and even the next day in school, they try to tell us what happened and what, how it's a tragedy and all that. And as a kid, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, you're sitting there, you're wondering, what the fuck is this? Why are people dying? I'm 9. I just want to play Pokemon when I get off at the cafeteria. That was my mindset as an 8, 9-year-old. I want to play my Game Boy. I don't want to be here right now. That was me. In looking at that, I can't justify people saying the word manslaughter so loosely for one death, and then you look at real fucked up shit that has happened that's even worse than just one death. There's multiple deaths. And mind you, if you look up right now, as I end this broadcast, or my podcast for the night, my 21st podcast, I'm just going to advertise this, 0-hour documentary, Columbine High School. It's a 53-minute documentary, 0 hour. Look it up on YouTube. It is there for anyone to watch. It's either 53 minutes or 58. I think it's 53 or 54. Sit down and watch it the whole way through, because that's the most detailed reenactment that they could possibly give. And it's a reenactment. It shows the phone call recording the teacher made. They terrified to shit. Like, it's legitimate. It is close to it, and it's terrifying. But then you got people that are like, oh, they got pulled over. He resisted arrest. This is brutality. They literally, these cops went up. When you say manslaughter, this is my picture of this, right? When I seen all this on Twitter, this was my first expectation. The officer ran up to the guy's car, pulled him out of the car, put a gun in his head, knocked him on the ground, and just unloaded it. Pulled him right out of his car. No stop. No, okay, you're being professionally arrested. We're pulling you over because of this reason. Okay, please step with us and come to, into custody. We're going to take you into questioning, and we're going to figure out what's going on and why, maybe warrant or whatever, or stop or routine. I don't know. But when you're on fucking trending some bullshit and it's not fully detailed, and then I know all the shit that I've already seen and know about growing up, it looks retarded. It doesn't make any sense. Would that make... Luke, you're older than me, right? So, to you, would you agree with that? Like, you've seen growing up when you were in school, like, World Trade Center going down, fucking...
I was in
Columbine.
second fucking grade when that happened.
Yeah. I was in about first. I remember it. It was fucking, silly. They're like, Columbine just happened. Columbine High School was just shut up, so we're taking you home early. And we're like, what? I get the fuck home, and then it was like a national tragedy. And then the next day we go to school, and they don't even tell us to go to class. We're not even going to classrooms or whatever, staying in them like normal elementary. They took all of us to the cafeteria, and they had, for a full day, just like a parent-teacher type conference with the kids, everyone present, and we were all just talking for fucking hours, and they turned it into a fun day while being a morning day too, while trying to respect their kids, respect their youth, because they don't want to see, even then, back then, they don't want to see troubled youth turning into that, because then you get mass murder at a young age, young stupid people. People when they're young do stupid shit. They try to commit suicide. Young. It happens. Even adults commit suicide. But then again, when you're an adult, it's more harder to get out of wanting to commit suicide because you have less of a reason as you get older. You have less friends. You have less contact, less communication. So, I'm pretty sure you would agree with that, Luke, right?
Yeah.
You get less friends, you get people that become distant drug addicts that try to OD on like a whole fucking bottle of pills and anxiety, and they make you worry, and then you want to fucking backhand them.
Yeah, but you got people out there who are masturbating the hentai 24/7.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, it's like furry porn and dicks and...
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to start moaning in about 5 seconds.
Alright, and that's when I end my... No. You're going to start... You're going to make me end my podcast. Cause,
you're going to make me cyberbully.
You're fucking so terrible right now. It's not even, I can't even laugh. You're terrible.
Did you end it already?
No. And I'm about to now because that was my 21st... That was my 21st episode. I can't even right now.
I wish I played actual porn this week.
One day, I'm gonna reference the fact that I had a bunch of people that were drunk and moaning on my 21st podcast, and I'm just gonna say, yeah, I remember this night vividly, and it was hilarious. Are you having a conniption?
I don't know.
Alright, I'm ending the podcast. Everyone,
no,
good
you're
night.
not. You're the fuck you are.
Alright, I'm saying good night. This is the 21st podcast where I'm going to remember this forever, unfortunately, where I had a furry moaning into my ear and a drunk person joining in because it's funny shenanigans, but do understand...
Yeah.
Do understand that the whole thing with Black Lives Matter, I don't hate them, though, but I'm starting to feel less and less, supportive because I started to view it as terrorism. Can you not moan? I can't focus. I can't focus with the seductive moaning.
That means he's doing a good job.